Okay, I don't even know if anybody's still running these Autocut heads, but this is a Stihl Autocut head. It's not the Autocut 2, it's not the Autocut anything else. It's this kind right here. It says 5110111 on the bottom, or else those are dashes. So that could be 5/10 of 2011. That could be a date. Who the hell knows? Anyways, this is the ground side, right? The side that says Autocut, Stihl. And then you have your internal side with these little notches here, okay? What you want to do is you want to wind your internal side first. You can see there's two holes that go into the center of the spool, and they go in at an angle. So you take your line, you put it in, and do not wind it at the same angle as what that hole is. You want to wind it back on itself, okay? So that's actually coming out this way, okay? It's coming out this way. You want to wind it back on itself. That's how it stays in there until the bitter end. Until at least, you know, it gets short enough to go inside the hub, and then you're freewheeling. So anyways, then you just clip it onto the closest one you got. You got about 8 inches of line there. Take your other piece that you have cut. I cut them. These generally wind up being about 6 feet. About 6 feet works. So plug this other one in here. Again, it goes in at an angle, then wind it back on itself. So it's like this, not with itself. Put it in at the angle and wind it the other way back on itself to keep it in there. And then what you want to do is clip it onto the opposite side. So you wind up with something like this. Okay. Now, you take your trimmer. This is an FS45 I rescued out of the garbage about 8 years ago, and it had a plugged up spark arrestor. So you plug one in to the steel grommet that's in the actual cutter head, and pull it through a little bit, and plug your other one in. Whoop. Without getting it tangled into the other one. There's only two eyelets that you can plug these into. Pull that through, kind of pull this through. Once you get it going down on the hub like this, okay, you get it kind of going down in there. Then you can pull this around, you can pull this tight, and what that'll do is it'll release it from that temporary clip. Just like that. I can't believe this bump head still works. This thing's been through all kinds of bad things. You can see this is getting worn through. So anyways, you tighten that up until it won't tighten up no more, and your bump head works, and it will feed line until they're until they disappear inside the hub, or else they fly out. Generally that happens at about 8 or 10 inches of length, but you got 6 feet of line on there. The big thing to do is, it's not, the reason you have a trimmer is because you're trimming around a rock wall, or you're trimming around something that's going to eat up the line. And it's way better to use, in my opinion, unless it depends on the application, but like things around vinyl siding and stuff like that, the weaker the line that you use, the better off you are. Yes, you go through more line. You're not using the super Gorilla tungsten carbide line with flail tips that's going to last 20 years, but you're going to tear up everything that you own. The line is supposed to be the consumable item, right? Not everything that you're trimming around, like your belongings. So using the thinner line and using cheaper line, which turns out to be weaker, has always kind of been my mantra, to kind of save your planters and your vinyl siding and the paint on your whatever it is, you know. But yeah, rewinding the Autocut isn't too bad as long as you know how to do it. And doing it the first few times is the hard part. Once you know that, it's all gravy from there, right? Once you know how to do something and you know how it works, that's the gravy part. So anyways, I hope that helps somebody. See you later.